Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Eye on the Ball. I'm Steve Rivera, and you're listening to 1030 The Voice. Welcome to Friday, last day of the week. A short week for me, but guess how the week ends? Like it started, with Mr. Matt Moreno in studio.
I think I really have to say thanks for having me back, Steve.
Yes, yeah, you got your last hope here. How was it on this side of the fence?
It was different. I feel like I was thinking about it today, and I said it feels like a September call-up in Major League Baseball. I think I was in AAA and got called up to the show, and they said, well, you got to send him back down, I think, and have him get a little bit more work.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have fun?
I don't mind being the sidekick.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I don't mind you being the sidekick.
It was fun, though.
It was fun. It was like you had to talk a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you have no callers.
No.
You didn't. I heard you didn't.
Steve Rivera.
Steve Rivera, yeah, one important caller. Now, if you want to call in 790-2040, we're going to talk about the game tomorrow, the U of A Gonzaga game, Saturday night, late into the night, ESPN. Big game. Game of the year.
Yeah, so far.
You've been here 9 years?
9 years? 8 years? Somewhere around there.
I've been here 30-something. Big games for me. North Carolina coming into town, kicking the heck out of U of A. That wasn't a big game because that team was horrible in Lute's final years. UConn coming in. Michigan State coming in. Shaq coming in. Vegas coming in. Duke back in the 80s. This is probably the biggest game in your time here. Yes?
Florida, but I wasn't here for it. I was in
New
Mexico.
But that was it was a big game, but it wasn't. I remember it was a good game because it was a great day for Arizona athletics.
Yeah.
People said that was the greatest day in Arizona history. If that's the greatest day.
I don't know if that's what you want to be saying.
No, it was because they beat New Mexico in a
it was fun.
crazy game. And then they beat Florida with a Mark Lyons drive. Yeah, but that wasn't. It was a game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I mean, in terms of just carrying weight and being a notable matchup and being two very, very good teams. I mean,
yeah, outside of a UCLA game or an Oregon game.
Yeah, that
matters. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think in the last
you're
10
only
years,
guaranteed one of these games every couple years, anyways.
Right. Exactly. So it should be fun. It should be rocking tomorrow, because it's the ticket. If you have a ticket, you have a ticket. If that makes any sense, because you don't Thursday night, Wednesday night's game. Blah blah blah.
People showed up a little bit late, and they were like, "Oh, a 50-point game. I think I need to
go.
Get out.
Yeah, go get my beer and get the heck out." No, but it should be a very good game. Obviously, they're number 6, aren't they?
Yep.
Which of course means nothing, but I think they deserve to be a 6.
Yeah. They're pretty battle tested. They've played some good teams already.
Yeah, and that's why I like them. We'll make a prediction at the end of the day, but I don't know where I'm going to go with it yet right now. But I have to think that you didn't go to Baylor, right? You were in town.
Yeah, I was here.
Arizona hasn't played anybody outside of Baylor, maybe. Wake Forest any good?
Not really.
Illinois any good?
No. Yeah, Illinois is getting better.
Yeah,
Illinois is getting better, which is actually very, very good for Arizona.
Who they beat? Michigan.
They beat Michigan.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, and it means nothing whether they win or lose now in December, but it's important to see how good you guys really are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say you guys, kind of misspeaking, but Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a good test, I think, and a good barometer for where they're at, and I think Sean Miller maybe touched on this a little bit when he talked after the last game, but I think they'd rather face them right now as opposed to 2 games in when you really don't know what you had.
Sure.
But you at least have some games under your belt. You have a loss under your belt. You know what went wrong in that game, and you can kind of build from that and come in this game with as prepared as possible as you can be at this point in the year.
And Sean knows what he has. He has a team that's pretty good, but needs some rebound.
Yeah.
It isn't a good rebounding team.
Yeah.
And guess what Gonzaga does?
I heard they rebound.
The rebound, yeah. With good players, and like you said, give me the scouting report. Older guys.
Veteran team, as usual. A lot of international players, transfers, mixed in with some really good high school and high-level talent guys that Arizona was going after, like Drew Timme, who's very active, and he's not a starter, I don't believe, but he's a key role player and someone that's going to potentially give them some issues. But Killian Tilly, I think, is the major difference when you look at this team, and a 6'10" guy who can do a lot of different things, can really score, is going to be a very interesting challenge for both Zeke Naji and Chase Jeter, because it's someone that doesn't necessarily match up well with those guys.
You've been here, like I said, almost 10 years now. What was your impression of the U of A program coming in? You were just a kid.
That there's a lot to build around here, and it's a very, I mean, there's a lot of tradition.
Mm-hmm.
just one of the prominent programs out west. One of those programs that it has a brand name, and it has it's maybe not in the grand scheme of things nationally not thought of as a North Carolina or Duke or Kentucky or Kansas, but to me, I felt it was on par with a lot of those programs just out west, just because of what I know about West Coast basketball and schools out here.
That reputation still hold?
Yeah, but it's different. It's different.
Okay, so let me ask you now, what are your thoughts on Gonzaga's program?
It's the new Arizona.
It is the new Arizona. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, it is. It might even be the new, better Arizona.
They're really efficient. They're really efficient at what they do. They really know, and this is something Sean Miller talked about too. They know what they do. They have he like he said, you just switch the faces out, but it's the same thing. They're doing the same things. Their program is run the same. They have a template for how they do things, and they do it very, very well. And they're very good about execution and executing their plan and doing what they like to do very, very well. And I think Arizona would like to get to that point under Sean Miller. I think it's taken years to figure out, I think, what to make of this place for Sean Miller. He's tried different ways to go about it. He's tried having completely super talented teams, but maybe the ego and the chemistry wasn't there. He's tried having teams that were maybe less heralded but had a lot of chemistry, and none of it has really worked. I think we're getting closer to that with this team, to that perfect balance, but we'll see what it adds up to at the end of this year.
And we won't know until we get there at the end.
Right.
Yeah, you could have, we saw that in 2014, 2015, when the Arizona had a great talent and a great chemistry and blah, blah, blah. They just ran into a buzzsaw Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's no guarantees. Right. There's no guarantees in this game.
Right. Can I ask you guys a question?
Go ahead.
What do you make of the team so far?
Well, we're kind of getting there. I'll rate it as a B. I want to say B+, but the schedule has been so bad that it's hard to gauge how good they are.
I'm waiting for something to happen that I thought would have by now.
What?
I'm waiting for somebody who's going to be the real team leader.
Oh, you have
the go-to guy.
You have him. If you
haven't noticed I don't see him.
Go ahead and tell him who it is.
Nico Mannion.
Nico Mannion. There's only one leader on this team.
He is the de facto leader, but I'm still waiting for a Mark Lyons kind of a guy.
Oh, that won't happen.
A guy that's going to you're going to need a guy like that against a team like Gonzaga. You don't want a
Mark Lyons guy. Mark Lyons guy was not the guy you wanted as your leader.
Well,
I know what you're asking or what you're saying.
I'm talking about the guy that wants to win the game. They all want to win, but it looks to me like we haven't seen the kind of personality that's going to say, "Guys, shake it up."
Take care of him for me, Tom. Moreno.
Yeah, well, I think that is Nico. I think he's going to have to grow into that role in terms of if you want him to be a vocal leader.
He's not.
He's not that guy. And if he's going to be that guy, it's not going to come until later in the year when he has some more experience in games like this under his belt.
If he's not that guy yet, we're going to have trouble with Gonzaga.
No. I think I get what you're saying, that you're looking for that leader guy,
an emotional leader.
That doesn't happen.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
T.J. McConnell might be a better example.
Yeah, but you don't need to be that guy to be a leader. Mannion is exactly what this team needs. He not flustered, plays the game. In fact, Jimmy Dykes, all this BS about his.
We talked about that earlier.
About this BS and him not. It's because he doesn't show that gait. He plays like Bibby. Bibby just showed up and played. He didn't need to do all this fancy, whatever, in your face stuff. He just played, and you knew he was good because you saw that he was good. Does that make sense?
Let me ask you this. Does this team know how to win a big game?
We don't know because they haven't been in a big game.
We're going to find out tomorrow.
I don't know if I could date Miss America until I meet her. I mean, honestly, that's maybe a bad analogy, but it's true. You don't know until you know. This is going to be the game. If they lose,
it seems to me like we should have seen something. We should have seen something of that in the Baylor game.
No, that wasn't. No.
It was a strange game all the way around.
Yeah. That Baylor game was not a big game. It was just a game.
Yeah, but we needed them to step up a little more than they did. They could have won that game.
Sure, and they should have gotten crushed that game. They were getting crushed. They were lucky to get back in it.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
That showed something. They got back in it.
Did you expect them to win that game?
I thought they had a chance.
Well, before the game.
Before the game, I thought this game could show us something about the makeup of the team.
What did you hope? What were you hoping to see?
I was hoping to see guys show what it takes to win.
Let me, we got to go to break. I'm going to take my blood pressure pills here. Thank you, Tom, and come back and we'll talk more about this. I missed you, Tom.
No, you didn't.
Let's take a break. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. I'm your host, Steve Rivera, and with me is my son, my adopted son, Matt Moreno. So, Tom, upset me some more and give me some of your insights, too.
No, I just was asking you guys what you thought. And just as a casual observer and a fan of the Wildcats, I'm just hoping that somebody is going to take over when they need to. And I didn't see that happen in the Baylor game, and so far that was the toughest. That was the toughest game.
You haven't seen it at all this year?
You know, there was one time that when I saw, what game was that?
Pepperdine.
When Baker showed us something.
That ain't happening.
But he hasn't showed us anything since then.
He doesn't have that role. I know. It's Mannion, Pepperdine, take it over. And you know what? I don't know if that was just circumstances of the event where it was 5 seconds, 6 seconds left or whatever, and he was the guy who was going to get the ball.
And who didn't get the ball on the last possession against Baylor?
Who didn't? Him, right?
Right.
I don't remember what happened. Tell me. Zeke?
Trying to remember.
I can't remember what happened.
It was when all the TV stuff, when the game went out. So.
Oh, okay. So that's why I can't remember. No. There was one guy. There's only one guy, I think. Green's not going to do it.
Well, it has to be Nico.
It's either by default or by design.
By default, in my mind.
Or by design. There's going to be nobody else.
No.
He talks him up. He's the favorite. He's the golden child. He's got the green light. Am I wrong?
No, he's got a little bit longer. There's been times this season when I've seen him take some shots that I go, if that was anybody else.
No question, because what's been the edict all year after he got on me and saying we don't want to run and take quick shots?
Take smart shots.
Shots. But guess what he's done, though? Guess what Mannion's done? A time or two or three or four.
He's rushed some shots.
I've counted them. I've said that's one. That's two. He's taken at least 4 or 5. Where you go down and you kind of and then he shoots it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it's kind of killing Sean in the head.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say anything.
No.
And if it goes in, because he said this specifically, and you were there in the press conference, quick shots, fast shots. Yeah, I get that. But still, I still think this is his best chance, this style, to get to the Final Four.
Say you're into sports psychology. If they don't win this game against Gonzaga, if they don't show at least that they've got some fight, what is it going to do to the team psyche? What do you think?
Not a darn thing. Sometimes at the end of the day, the best team wins. And right now in December, Gonzaga to me is the best team, better team, and it means nothing. In all honesty, I'm not trying to. That's just how I feel. If this game's played in late February, then you're saying, okay, they need to get better. And I don't know if you can get better in late February, unless you catch lucky like Arizona in '97. Does it make sense?
I get that.
Yeah. So can you answer his question? Is it the same as mine?
What?
What this means if they win or lose?
Not a whole lot. I think the thing that would be bad is if they lose bad.
So if they lose bad, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, but if they lose by 5 or 6 or 7 points, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
they have another big game coming up pretty soon when they play Oregon. So there'll be another one.
Those are the games that you have to figure out.
Matt, why aren't they a better rebounding team, the Wildcats? What's going on there?
It's one of those things where I think it's built into the team, and it's just I don't think that this team was ever going to be that way.
But you got Ira Lee, you got Derek Jeter, you've got
2 guys who are marginal.
They've got to get better.
That ain't happening overnight.
And
one's a junior and one's a senior.
Najee. So is of those 3, is Najee the best rebounder or
probably so? And that's right now. That's not saying a whole lot
because he's not going after it. Yeah, so you have what you are who you are, and they're not that team. There's 2 things that they're going to kill this team now and forever this year: poor shooting from time to time, and poor rebounding more often than not. Yes.
Yeah, I think the shooting thing is going to be the thing that if they get caught at some point during the tournament, whenever they make their exit from this season, I think it's going to be for that reason, because we've seen it a couple times already where they just can't make shots, and there's not a remedy to that. You don't know. You could have a great warm up, have a great shoot around, and just not make shots, and that's the end of your season.
You saw the game. I was out in Pittsburgh, and I saw the game in spurts. Were they being defended to miss those shots, or did they just miss those shots? You know how people Arizona holds teams to 30%. It's great defense, but if someone holds them to 30%, they just shoot shot poorly.
Baylor was okay. Baylor was doing their job.
So guess what?
But Arizona played into it.
Okay, so guess what? In first 2-3 weeks in March, some team like Virginia or whomever, Baylor again, plays them and gives them great defense. South Dakota State.
Yeah, that's the thing is for Arizona, they're going to have to be in games where teams are playing great defense against them. They're going to have to be perfect.
But Baylor really helped Arizona out. Baylor's offense wasn't all
play
that
well
good.
Either. No, you're exactly right. Did you watch the Pittsburgh game, Pittsburgh Cardinal game on Monday or Sunday? Did you watch it, Tom?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, did you watch it?
I didn't.
Okay, so Pittsburgh gave everything away to lose that game. They just did. They just happened to be a lot better than Cardinals, who are horrible. So, they had a lot of mistakes, gave every chance and still won. Baylor probably did that.
I think so. Baylor gave them an opportunity to win that game.
And they didn't. I mean, and U of A just didn't take advantage of it. Come on, 4 or 5 of those shots go in. Arizona wins by 8. But also, Baylor didn't shoot the ball well either, right?
No, neither team did.
Yeah.
Would you agree with me that there is at least one pleasant surprise on that team? At least to me.
On U of A?
Yeah.
Wait. From what point to what point?
Improvement from his last 2 seasons with the team.
Oh, really?
No.
Wait. Then I don't. Oh, of
he's
course.
hitting threes like he was supposed to.
We talked about this at the break. Yeah, but what's the issue, Moreno?
Dylan?
Yeah.
But what's the issue, Moreno?
He could very well be Dylan Smith that everyone's known. You just don't know.
You don't know which Dylan Smith you're going to get.
But so far, he's been showing up.
It's been more often than not, and that's what I told Steve when we were off air, where it's been more often than not this season, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
It's better than no sign.
I'm happy for him. He seems more comfortable. He seems to be enjoying playing the game out there with the other guys, so I'm happy for him.
The next step is to do it in a game like this. And then you go, okay, now you're ready to turn the corner. Now you're someone that I think everybody can trust.
Totally agree. And he wasn't there for Baylor, right?
No.
So, and you need him. It's funny because why do you think this is happening for him?
When your game is based around shooting, it's hard to be a consistent shooter all the time. That's a very difficult thing, to be a very, very reliable shooter. His game is built so much on defense, which the average fan isn't paying as much attention to defense. Right. So you can do very well and still go unnoticed. But his game offensively is making shots from 3-point range. It's hard to do that consistently night in and night out.
Why do you think he's doing it, though? Why do you think?
Because there's other help. Last year he was
totally
relied on so much. And
I totally agree.
Even if you're subconsciously kind of maybe putting that pressure on yourself that I know I need to score tonight. If you look at last season, they needed him to score. They needed him to be a key contributor offensively. Right now, he can go be that guy that flies under the radar. Maybe the defense sags off him a little bit, says, hey, we need to go worry about Nico and Josh and Zeke and making sure we're trapping Zeke, where maybe they forget about Dylan Smith and all he has to do is go knock down shots, which if your job is singular and that's your goal, I mean, it makes it a little bit easier.
I totally agree because his role is totally different now. He doesn't have the pressure to do all these things and he's just doing it now. He's just playing, that cliche, what is it, playing within yourself or whatever.
And I haven't gone and looked at the numbers. He might be doing the same exact thing he was doing last year, and we just notice it more because, look, Dylan's scoring.
Yeah, right. Well, he had 14 in the first half Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Or on Wednesday. Yeah. And then he disappeared. Not that I think he took a couple shots.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things where you just look at for a lot of people, they're going to look at the game and go, he had 14 points, and that's a solid night for him.
Exactly.
Because you're paying so much attention to the other guys on the team.
Right. No, I think they brought some relief for him. That there's not a lot of
That's the other
pressure.
part, too. He's not the only guy that has to make 3-pointers.
Right. And last year and the year before, he had some cachet. He needed to do that, and he didn't do that.
Yeah.
And he's a senior, too. I mean, come on, what does he have to lose? He probably worked his butt off, too, to become a better shooter.
Well, to be a starter on this team still, when he's had some ups and downs at the start of his season, wasn't great. He had that good stretch in Anaheim and then this last game. But to be a starter on this team, when they do have some other options, I mean, it tells you probably what he's doing.
They do, but
an
option is gone now. Devin Dutrieve, who would have started in his place.
Yeah.
So, hey, we got to take a break here pretty soon, Tom. Let's do that right now. I know we're running out of time. Let's take a quick break on 10:30 The Voice. Come back on the other side. Hey, welcome back to Eye on the Ball here on 10:30 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera. In with me is Matt Moreno of Go AZ Cats. My boy Tom, is on the producer area. Thank you, Tom, for making my blood pressure boil. Hey, but we have some breaking news. Go ahead and tell them
you need to feel alive.
I feel like,
and I feel like I'm the guy to do that.
Yes, I want to go through that screen and just strangle you. Go, Moreno. Go with the breaking news.
Oh, USC has received its notice of allegations for Tony Bland and their basketball program, and it's starting to move along now with this whole process. NC State just sent in their rebuttal that we were talking about off air, and so the most major of the violations they didn't commit, but they said, yeah, we did some of that lower level stuff that's not going to get us.
Do you think Arizona will admit some stuff?
I don't know. I don't think so. Based on covering this program for however many years,
that's where I was going to go with it.
I don't think so.
Denial?
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
It's status quo.
What did they say in that letter that they sent?
Well, they just can't talk about it. They just admitted that they received the letter, which I don't. Is USC NCAA worthy? Tournament worthy?
They have some good pieces. It's going to be close.
It's going to be close, but Arizona's tournament worthy.
Oh yeah.
Let's assume for a second, and it's a good possibility now that you saw this, that in a month or two, you get this letter, or Arizona does. Well, that could throw a wrench in a lot of different things.
I mean, ideally, if you're Arizona, you want to receive this.
April 3rd.
Yeah, right. I mean, and then you worry about it because you have a few months to come up with your own kind of response to that, to the notice of allegations, which you get 3 months to do that, and that'll be the summer, and it'll be a news story for a day, and people will forget about it until the next few months.
Even now, if Arizona got it one in January 2.
That would be, I think, probably the worst scenario.
Because you have 3 months, and guess what it's going to do? It's going to follow you every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, in 3 months from the start of the year is
an
important time in college basketball.
February, March. Well, if it happened in January, well, you get all of January questions,
February,
all of your
March.
questions, February, and March depends how far you go, and that would be.
Well, no matter what happens, let's say you don't you get eliminated in the tournament, you just lost in the tournament, and then you have this thing, let's say a week later.
Yeah.
Just adding to.
Yeah, to a misery.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's interesting news, though, because and they're starting to fall. It's taking some time, obviously. Yeah. But who knows?
I think I said a few months ago that I still think they get another recruiting class on campus before we know anything significant about it.
I agree. And he's done well.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, right. Because if you're going to play in the league,
and truly, what will matter? Perception is perception. It's going to look bad no matter what happens, unless they get completely exonerated. But that just doesn't seem like.
But if they get a postseason ban,
I still don't think it matters very much.
Because kids don't care.
They don't care.
They just want to be seen.
What is Nico Mannion coming to Arizona for?
To get to the league. He could have gone somewhere else to get to the league, though.
Yeah, but it's convenient here. He gets to stay close to home.
True.
He likes the program. He likes the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. All those things are still going to be important.
And Miller said probably to him, because it's very obvious, he said something to him, we're going to let you play.
Yeah. I think that's the key undertone of this season is that Sean Miller has done some different things than he's done with other teams for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Maybe he likes these players a little bit more, feels like they're going to listen to him a little bit better.
He's loosened the purse strings.
Doesn't mind. They don't have egos. They don't have huge egos.
Yeah.
Where it's, I'm going to let them do what they do. Even his rotation. Someone brought up, obviously Christian Coloco's played a lot the last couple games, and someone said he could have very well, and we've seen him in other seasons, just say, sorry, Christian Coloco, I know there's an opportunity for you to play, but I'm still not going to play you.
Right.
Even that, playing him is a little bit different than what he's done before, because this would have been his key opportunity to start tightening up that rotation, and he's gone the other way.
No, I agree with you. So
there's some different things, like you mentioned, letting them play, letting them run a little bit more.
Right. And like I say, this is his best opportunity to get to as far as he can in the tournament. And they're enjoying it, or at least you think so.
Yeah.
And when you're 10-1, guess what you do? You're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Winning solves a lot of issues. And not to say that there's issues, but they're having fun. I think eventually is St. John's any good?
They're okay.
They're okay. They play on a neutral court. So we'll see when adversity hits.
I think the Oregon game is the one where you say, okay, let's see what they're really made of.
Right.
Because you'll have played Illinois, you'll have played Baylor, and you'll have played Gonzaga at that
Mhm.
point, and you'll
Mhm.
have a better idea of what they truly are.
We'll see.
Does Oregon play Michigan?
Did they already play?
Saturday.
They just
They play them Saturday.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. But
so
Michigan's not the Michigan that we thought they were after they did so well.
they had some big wins.
Yeah. But they've had a couple of quick losses after that. So it matters nothing. I mean, honestly, I've done this often enough to know that. Look at Arizona. Arizona, in my time when Lute was coaching, that they played so well in November, December, and guess what? It didn't matter in March.
Well, and we were talking about this off air. I think in this year in particular, it really doesn't matter. You don't necessarily. If Arizona was
right.
undefeated and competing for, they're in the talk to be the number one team in the country. That's not a spot you want to be right now.
No. Because why? Because the schools are not good this year.
They're not that great.
Yeah.
There's no one that I think if I'm Arizona, there's no one that should scare me, and there's not really any team out there that should scare anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of one of those years where it's going to be kind of a free for all in the tournament.
That's
Anybody's
great,
going to be.
though.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. You don't know who's going to be who's the favorite now.
Probably Kansas.
Kansas, Duke again, back to the front again. Yeah, but isn't that fun because you don't really know?
Yeah, that's the best. That's going to make for a lot of fun games where a lot of teams that you're expecting to go far just don't.
Right.
And it's going to be back to your whole idea.
Isn't Gonzaga in that mix?
Yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they lost to who did they lose to Maui? North Carolina. Who did they lose?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're good. Let's talk about that. Well, let's talk about this now. Let's make some predictions because we're going to talk a little about football and then we'll come back and talk about basketball. Who's going to win Saturday?
I think Gonzaga, but just by maybe 5 points.
Yeah, do you know what the spread is now?
I don't.
No, I don't think it's up yet.
Maybe a couple points.
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
I want to say this, and I can't remember. I don't cover Arizona as closely as I did when I was doing the Lute tour for 20-some years. Lute's teams, whenever they were thought of to lose, whenever they're the underdog, they rarely lost those games. They always played above what they needed to. It was rare that they were predicted to lose, but they rarely lose in those games when they were predicted to lose.
Looks like Arizona's a couple point favorite.
Yeah. Which is amazing to me. It's amazing to me. At the worst, it could be even. Or best, it could be
That's
even.
kind of what that's saying. It's just basically
True.
giving Arizona the home court advantage.
True. But what have you seen out of Arizona? They haven't played anybody.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll know the answer
But
to
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if they win. That's the whole thing. I wouldn't touch this game. But and maybe I'm just giving Gonzaga too much credit.
That could be what it is as well. I mean, I'm probably guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
It's not like I haven't watched Gonzaga like I've watched
Right.
Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched their kind of bigger games just to see what they're about. I saw them play Washington and some of those other bigger games. But maybe that's what I'm just thinking Gonzaga's Gonzaga. So
Right. Well, there's no question. I think that in the West now, give me the five best teams.
Oregon, Arizona's in there. Gonzaga,
Washington. There's one more.
Colorado.
I don't know who that. Colorado, maybe.
I guess.
Yeah. What about? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and Arizona's probably third or fourth in that list.
Yeah, but I think for Arizona right now, you don't mind where you're at. If I'm Arizona, if I can hang around, and yeah, if you get to the top 10, that's nice. But I don't think I would want anything to do with being a top 4 team right now in the country. It's just there's a target on your back. It doesn't last long. It hasn't lasted long this for anybody who's been in those spots this season. If you're Arizona right now and you're in that 12 to 15 range, which they've been at for the last couple of weeks, that's fine. You're 3 or 4 seed in the tournament, and you'll get to stay out west more than likely. You'll get a decent path. You'll have to eventually play someone pretty good, but how good are the teams that are at the top anyways?
Right. Well, that West thing is, it's overrated.
Yeah, but I think it's nice for them to win.
Oh, sure, of course it is.
For
It
the
is
fan
for the
base.
locals.
For the fan base, and
I get that.
there's a
but-
comfort in playing closer to home.
Right. It is, but it's never worked.
No.
So, we'll see. It's kind of interesting. So you're picking
I'm picking Gonzaga.
plus the points.
Yeah.
I think I don't know yet. I think
Who's giving Arizona the nod, Matt?
I have to look it up again. Hold on.
Las Vegas odds makers?
Las Vegas.
so. In I had this prepared in the Sports Illustrated basketball experts. I hate the word experts. There's no such thing. Pat Forty has the Bulldogs. Wu, one of the writers, is Arizona. Geary has the Bulldogs. Meyer has the Bulldogs, and Shapiro has Arizona. So 3 people picked the Bulldogs and two people picked the Wildcats. Let me tell you, these guys are experts. These guys get paid to do what they do, which doesn't mean you're an expert in whatever, because I'm not an expert in whatever. But these same people picked Louisville to beat Texas Tech, Tuesday night? All of them picked. How'd that go?
Not so well.
So experts, tell me how that expert role is. Tom, are you an expert in radio?
You know that I'm only an expert on Tom.
No. Exactly. No, that's a good point. But are you an expert in radio, Tom? This is what you do.
Well, I've been in radio long enough to have learned a few things.
Yeah, but are you an expert?
I don't know that.
Exactly.
What is an expert?
Exactly. That's my point. What is it?
I don't know. I can't describe myself as an expert.
Exactly. And these guys making predictions, if they were experts, guess what? They would do that for a living rather than write. In all honesty, if you're an expert, everyone, they have insight. No, they don't. They don't.
I'm always wary of people who call themselves experts or call themselves insiders.
Or gurus.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a guru.
But especially in the sports kind of journalism world, there's a lot of insiders. A lot of insiders. And I'm putting that in quotes.
I remember
Would you say, though, talking about the odds about Arizona against Gonzaga, would you say, and that's the way I feel, if Arizona plays a good game, if they don't mess up, if they don't have a bunch of turnovers, for example, I think they have a chance to win this game.
Oh, of course.
They have a good chance.
Yeah,
if they play well, they're going to probably win by a lot.
They'll probably win, yeah. So, but if you're saying I hate the word if Gonzaga plays well.
I mean, we've seen that they can play poorly. We have seen that.
Against bad teams. I don't know. Well, I should say bad. South Dakota State was a good team.
So are you saying that Arizona is one of those teams that plays up to the level of their competition or down to the level of their competition?
I don't think Sean Miller's teams do that.
I haven't really seen that.
Lutz did that. Sean's doesn't. Sean's teams are pretty consistent and have been. They rarely get beat by double digits. It's been maybe a handful of times.
That's the one thing you can usually count on is that it's very difficult in the Sean Miller era to beat Arizona by double digits.
Yeah, it's rare.
Even when they're playing terrible.
Right.
It's still very difficult to beat them by a lot.
Against Baylor, you knew that they had a run. Somehow they get close. I mean, they rarely get blown out. What was Buffalo? Buffalo, you just knew that it was over from the beginning.
Yeah.
I tweeted 5 minutes in. I said, it's over.
But you know what's exasperating to me, and we've seen it season after season, that Arizona has a penchant to let the team that they're playing get ahead of them early.
Oh, yeah. But that happens a lot. We know this because we see this more often. But that happens all the time. You know why, Tom? They start at 0-0.
I know, but when it's Arizona 2 and Baylor 15, that's not fun.
That's been one guarantee this year is that Arizona has started out very slow in games and then they have to pick it up in the second half.
No, we've covered this team for a long time. It happens more often than not.
Yeah.
It happens a lot for whatever reason. I mean, we talked about 7-8 years
and not
ago.
just this season. We've seen it every season.
Point. No, that's my point. It happens all the time. That's the thing that probably needs to be looked at. Because they sure as heck rally at the end if they need to, except for the Wisconsin games when they got blown out late. Well, they got beat badly in this. Hey, let's take a break. We got to take one more last one before we come back. Thank you. You're listening to Eye on the Ball here on 1030 The Voice. Hey, welcome back here to Eye on the Ball here at 1030 The Voice. I'm Steve Rivera. We have about 9 minutes left. Let's go to football real quick, and we'll come back and circle around to basketball again. Football, what's going on? Sumlin still the coach?
For now.
For now. Talk to you in a year.
Yeah.
So what's going on with recruiting? Because the recruiting signing day is the 18th?
Yep, next Wednesday.
How's it look?
One last visit weekend. They have a few recruits in this weekend for official visits. Usually this time of year, and you'll see a lot of other programs are doing this, they'll load up for this weekend and bring out 10, 12, 15 recruits and try and put the finishing touches on their class. Arizona, at this point, it is what it is at this point in the process, where they maybe get a few more guys before Wednesday, but this process, unlike the last couple years, is going to drag into February, and they're not going to be done until, late in the spring probably, but by February they'll have at least more of their class together.
When you say it is what it is, what it is?
It's the number 60 class overall.
60.
6-0.
How's that?
Last year they finished at number 57.
And the year before?
Probably right around there. Might a
And
little
the
bit
year
lower.
before,
Right
I mean,
around
my
there.
point is,
It's-
we talk about this all the time, and I'm not to rag here, Arizona. They think, or people in the fandom think that Arizona should be better. Yada yada. It's not going to be any better. 40s maybe. How often does it finish in the 40s?
You're probably in a pretty good mood if it finishes in the 40s.
Yeah.
It's probably a pretty good year.
Right. It doesn't do that.
No, it's not.
Since
It's
you've
not
been
often.
here, has it
Maybe twice.
really? What classes were those?
Khalil Tate's year, I think they finished pretty high.
And how'd that go in evaluation? In all honesty, I mean, that's how you evaluate your recruiting class, right?
Yeah.
How'd that go? Was it worth 40? No. So your gig that you're in, bless your heart, is an inexact science.
Very much so.
And you don't know what you get until you get it 2 or 3 years down the road.
Right.
You know, it's like a marriage. I do. Let's see how it works out.
So I'm going to go back. 2011 was 55. 2012 was 46.
Okay, so you go. This is the first year of Rich Rod?
Right.
Okay, go ahead. Rich Rod?
37 was in 2013.
Okay, that's his second year?
That's when they had Anu Solomon was their
Okay.
marquee guy.
Okay. Well, he got to the Fiesta Bowl.
Samaje Grant was on that team.
Okay. Fiesta Bowl.
Stephen Grillo was on that team, yeah.
My boy, Steven.
2014, they finished 28th.
28th. Okay, how'd that go?
They
Got him fired?
had 6 4-stars.
6 4-stars. Who are they?
Cam Denson,
Okay, that didn't work out.
Nick Wilson.
Oh, that was okay.
The next 2 are going to make people laugh. Marquise Ware
Didn't.
and Jamar Jacob.
Yeah.
Jordan Poland.
Oh, okay.
Didn't
Yeah.
do anything here.
Okay.
And Marcus Griffin.
Okay, so 5 misses. See, that's another thing. Okay, so all this mumbo jumbo magic of recruiting,
That was probably their best class.
and that turned out to be horrible.
And that was the year just before. That was the year before they went to the. So that was the year they went to the Fiesta Bowl, but they all
Yeah.
signed in February of that
Right,
year.
right. In fact, that was one of my big stories, or at least I remember trying to get that big story, is how much they lived off that Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Everything had already happened
Right.
before that game.
Right.
So what happened the year after they got to the
41, which should have been. You go to the Pac-12, you win the Pac-12 South. You obviously lose to Oregon, but you get to play in the Fiesta Bowl. That should be your year when you finish with a top 25 class.
Correct. That one punch that you got from doing that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
Post Makovich, who has done the best job head coaching the Arizona football team?
Oh, Stoops.
Yeah.
Stoops. without
Both
question.
in results and in recruiting.
Right. He just Stoops, bless his heart, wasn't a head coach. He couldn't. He didn't have composure. Didn't speak well. It's like me being a CEO of a company. I don't speak well enough to be a CEO of a company.
Well, I can't see you in a coat and tie either.
Yeah, well, you have to be that person. He wasn't that person. He's a great sidekick guy. He could recruit. He has the best recruits coming in, right? Best talent.
Yeah.
I think
Well, you just have to look at the NFL.
the NFL, and I think that Rich Rod benefited from some of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Could you picture Sonny Dykes as the head coach and Mike Stoops as the defensive
Yes.
coordinator?
Yes.
I can too.
Yes. So that was an easy question. Only that he shot himself in the foot because he was not a good communicator. Greg Byrne was not his guy. All that, and he wasn't going to move anything forward. He just wasn't. True.
I mean, it wasn't. In hindsight, it was the right move to make.
Right at the time, they just happened to get a guy. In looking back, and I don't know why I did this. We have about 3 minutes left. I did a Google search on Rich Rod. I don't know why. Maybe because Mississippi, because he's not being retained, right? So I'm not sure what is going to happen to him. I should call him actually and ask for a job. But he had so many of the same issues at Michigan that he had here: malcontent, bad program, verbal abuse. All that stuff of program stuff. He just brought it back. Do you think
Well,
that?
and that's why it's always interesting for me to see that there's so many retreads, and I think we talked about this on one of these last shows I was on, where it's just the wheels keep spinning, and the same guys keep getting jobs, and people think they're going to do it differently.
Well, you mentioned Ole Miss. What do you make of the Lane Kiffin hire as the head coach for Ole Miss?
I don't know.
It'll be fun until it's not fun.
Right.
I think, it's going to be interesting, especially when they play Alabama.
That's funny because that's one of my phrases. It's good until it's not. and it's very true. He's been fired at other places. Why? For being Lane Kiffin.
Right.
Eventually, guess what's going to happen? He's going to be Lane Kiffin. It's like, bless his heart too, is Mr. Kevin O'Neill. I mean, he's that guy, and then eventually, guess what happens? He wears out his welcome.
And it's not their fault that they keep getting hired. You're not going to be like, oh, don't hire me.
Right. No,
you want to give me money?
You're applying
More
for the
power
job
to
for a
you.
reason
Yeah.
to get hired.
Right.
Yeah. So we have about 90 seconds left. Well, we'll see what happens. Well, I did want to talk to you about Selman in a sense that, if anything, his reputation was recruiting, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's that going?
Not so well.
So if that's your reputation and you're not winning games and you're not recruiting well, what else do you have?
Not a whole lot. Better be very
A
personable.
contract. He's got a
You have
contract.
a contract. I wish I had a contract for half of what he's making. So we'll see what happens. My point is, Arizona's just waiting it out now.
Yeah. And you're just crossing your fingers that something clicks and you can catch fire somehow.
I've been waiting for that for 55 years. Look, Tom's dying on the other side. Go ahead, you can laugh publicly.
55 years.
55 years.
That
yeah.
sounds good to me.
I'm still waiting for that one catch fire. You know.
We're
Okay.
still waiting.
Still waiting. Here I'm on the radio with Tom and Moreno. Hey, Moreno, thanks for coming in. Thanks for
Absolutely,
filling
Steve.
in for me this
Yeah,
last
no
week.
problem.
Thanks for not doing a great job, so they kicked me out and didn't bring
I
you
just
back.
couldn't say my name the way you say it, so
Moreno, yes.
I knew I was doomed.
Moreno, thank you very much for coming by. Tom, good to see you.
Well, I wonder if he really believes that, folks. Does he mean that? I don't know.
We'll see you guys next week or talk to you guys next week. Thanks, everybody, here on 1030 The Voice.